we're gonna get right into it, man. I want to, you can go each person just go and give your spiel about go. I say give like a top. You could do 10, but I would say 5 just to be safe, and then we'll just go each person give one your view and just go around. So,
So
Tone,
from 5 up,
dude,
we're going 5 from the bottom.
you can do it any way you want to, but we're gonna go before Endgame. Who are some of your favorites and why? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we got at 5, my favorite. Uh, it was Spider Man. I like his introduction. His
Okay.
introduction like I think it like re-energized the fan base a little bit. And I thought
For
Tom
sure.
Holland brought like a lot of energy to the role because they were like, "Who is this dude? Who is this?" There's nobody. I for sure did not know who this guy was. So the fact that they got an unknown actor, I think Marvel's good at picking up people that you don't know and giving them good solid roles.
I agree.
I think wait, can you hear me right?
Yeah,
You hear
yeah,
me
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay, cool. I think afterwards, not starting at number 5, it would still be Spider Man because I feel like his momentum continued all the way through his art, and all 3 of his movies were pretty solid. So you can't go wrong with him.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. One thing
and
I can't
I'm not even the biggest Spider Man like buff guy, but
fan, yeah, yeah.
I give him his respect. Spider Man came in and did
One
it.
thing I can't agree with you though, Tone, is just for Spider Man. Just say that real quick for me being a Spider Man fan. As much as I think he whines a lot, I do think he was probably the closest to the comics. I feel like, to be honest,
Yeah,
like of how Spider Man was. I can't fake when that first scene of Civil War came in and he
yeah.
came in and grabbed the shield. I'm like, oh shit, it's Spider Man. We
Just
really got
off that alone, it was like, hey, the introduction was perfect. It was like perfect,
perfect.
perfect introduction.
Movies definitely solid. Like I said, I have my gripes about the last one, but like I do
Mm-hmm.
feel like he had a solid 3. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely Spider Man. What you think, Tori? You agree? You think Spider
Yeah,
Man had a good little arc?
yeah, I agree. I liked his introduction in Civil War as well. I definitely would agree.
Yeah,
And I
because
like how they designed his suit. Like it kind of made me reminisce of the old Spider-Man cartoon, like with the movement of the eyes and everything like that. And I like that they got a younger actor to portray Peter Parker because Peter Parker is a teenager. So I thought that was good for them to get a younger actor. Nothing against Tobey Maguire, but in case y'all ain't know, Tobey Maguire was in his 20s
yes,
playing Peter Parker back in the day.
yes.
So
Well, he was a college
yeah.
student too, though. In that iteration, he was more.
He was like in his 20s playing a kid in high school.
No, I'm saying Peter Parker was like going to college. So he was like in
No,
between.
like
No, but
when
he's
no
saying like he was just like older, like he was
Oh,
like
playing
too
him
the
old.
older.
actor was older.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was glad they got a younger actor
Yeah.
that could
Okay.
like that was in the teenage age because I think Tom Holland was still in his teens
He was
when
18. I
he
think he
got
was like
cast
18.
so it fit
Damn, that's
for
crazy.
that.
You get cast as Spider Man at 18. You know the bird. The pressure. Like that's so crazy. You
So they
should.
can still pass that off, with him being in high school, even though at 18
Yeah.
he's like graduated from high school and going to college, but he could still pull off a high schooler.
I agree. I agree. And also what you said too, Tone, like just getting Spider-Man off 18 off Bucks and still act like I saw a picture of him as in there, everybody saw whatever. I'm like, this man acts like he is not our Spider-Man. Like when it's in there, he does not act like she's Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? At this point, because I was like, yo, you would not know he was our Spider-Man if nobody told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if nobody told you, but that goes to him being like Peter Parker for sure. You know what I'm saying? That Peter Parker S5. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm.
of being a fucking dweeb. But
Yeah.
Torian, what's your number 5? Which would be your number 5? What would be your number
My
5?
my number 5 would probably have to be. I was going to put this person in number 5, but I think I'm gonna have them in the top 5, but I'm gonna move them up just a little bit.
Okay.
But if I had to give a number 5, I would have to say Scarlet Witch.
Okay. Okay.
Um and I say Scarlet Witch because that was a character that I was kind of looking forward to when I saw her like first come into Age of Ultron to see like how far they would actually go with her powers, and I also wanted to see what she was going to do after what happened to Vision in Infinity War, because I knew at that point she was going to enter into a point of no return after that. And that's it. When it said when or if she does come back, she's gonna really go in. And sure enough, that's exactly what she did after she came back, and then after Endgame. But when she did after Endgame, we saw we saw the results of that.
Yes.
And the thing is, we still haven't seen the full extent of her power. Even with everything we've already
I don't think
seen
we'll
with
ever
her
see that.
already, we still
We'll
haven't
never
seen the
see
full
that.
extent of her power.
We'll never see that.
You don't think we'll ever see it? And look, if she's on X-Men '97, we might see it. They might throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely agree with Tori when he said, like I guess she was a character to me where I didn't know what she was gonna be on. You know what I'm saying? And just to see that she could really, it's just the fact that she can be the most powerful person in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? And they really like, you know what I'm saying? They made her like freaky. You know what I'm saying? They watched her get like better. I watched her get better over time. You know what I'm saying? Like from going to being, what was it? I think she was terrified at first. Remember when Hawkeye was having that conversation with her, Ultron, like,
yeah,
if you're gonna step out, you got to be what you got to be. You got to be an Avenger if you step out this door.
And I also can't see anybody else but Elizabeth Olsen playing that role. Like I can only see her playing that role, and I like how she plays that character, even down to her doing the accent and also her doing her hand movements, like how Scarlet Witch does. Because it's like it's not just in the delivery, but it's also in the mannerisms as well.
I definitely agree. So you rocking with Scarlet Witch? You was rocking with
Scarlet Witch? Nah, but I did consider her for top 10. But at 5, nah. I'm sorry. I did consider her for top 10. It was just, I don't know. Scarlet Witch didn't hit like I thought she would. Honestly, I thought it was kind of overall that down. Like when you watch me, actually sit there simmer like, but they didn't go full, full on, full ahead. Like I said, we didn't see the full extent of her powers, especially with them knowing that she probably never get another movie. Might well just go ahead and let it all out.
Yes. She kind of showed it. She had iterations of it.
Yeah, but you got to go.
Madness when she just went through everybody. All the who were they? The Illuminati.
The Illuminati, yeah.
Bro, she turned Mr. Fantastic to ramen noodles. You feel what I'm saying? Like he literally turned the noodles.
No, she was lit though. She was lit for sure.
I
just feel like she could have been a lot better.
Okay, we got number 5. My number five. I know this is just like actually like number 5. It's kind of weird. I got an honorable 6, but I'm gonna go with my number 5. My number 5 is Agent Carter, and I know that's random, but I really liked her character through how like actually I watched the show. You know what I'm saying? Like the show outside of that, and like she was sneaky putting in work. You know what I'm saying? Like for the cause of what she was doing with like Shield and all that stuff. Like they were putting in a lot of work behind the scenes besides the Avengers. I think she doesn't really get a lot of recognition besides the fact that she was Cap's joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like she put in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? She stayed through. She went from the first Avenger all the way to basically Endgame, Infinity War. You know what I'm saying? Endgame. You know what I'm saying? When Cap went back in time and so I was just like, she was like one of the people that I'm like, dang, Agent Carter low key was like in the mix of like, you know what I'm saying, of the MCU, but she didn't have to be front line. You know what I'm saying? And she was still Steve's motivation, like really his whole thing until Endgame. You know what I'm saying? He found a possibility to go back. So I definitely give Agent Carter a sneaky number 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not like how they used her, like, at the end of Endgame, of that's how they decided to close that chapter out, because it was like a major callback to the first Captain America movie when he promised her that dance, but he wasn't able to give it to her because he went into the future.
That was tough.
So I like that he stayed and he didn't come back until he was older, so he was able to get that dance. I was like, wow. I said, y'all want me to drop another damn thug tip after I just shed a few after Tony died? I'm like, what is going on here? Yeah, but I like how that was a very good ending to that movie.
Yeah, it closed Cap's arc. I definitely agree that. And when you said a third tier, I was thinking that too. Like, I was like, because even in the first one, that was hitting kind of hard when he was like, like when he knew he was going into the joint, he's like, like save me that dance. I'm just like, bro, you're not coming back, bro. And then even him waking up at the end of the first one, and he just like in 2010. You know what I'm saying? He like, what the what the and then he had to deal with it. I think in uh um what was it? Winter Soldier. When the Winter
Mhm.
Soldier joined,
Mhm.
he was old. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, she was old. Like that's like
Yeah, she was
cursed.
literally on her deathbed
Yes,
and she
and
died.
so that's why I was just like, man, he had to go. That was a lot. And then like it would kind of remind me of the Notebook. Like she thought she remembered him, and then all of a sudden her dementia, she just kicked back in. She's like, what's going on? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that was some tough moments between her and Cap. Man, I wish they would have had more time. But yeah,
I would
Agent
have
Carter
never.
number
I would
five.
never thought you said Agent Carter, man.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I had to think about it when I was going through it. I was like, dang, who's
Like
in my top
damn.
five? And I was like, dang, I really was rocking with her at the beginning, but that's neither here or there, right? But Tone, you got anything to say, Agent Carter, before we go to Torian?
I just honestly I never seen like past the first episode, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't like
He's
when she was
like,
like when she was the Captain America. I mean, I was kind of cool, whatever. You know, it was alright.
Mhm.
I just feel like she was a product of like the women's movement thing, and
oh,
you
but
know
what?
I think
Oh, what is she? Oh yeah, she turned into. On what if she turned into
Captain Britain.
Captain
Captain
Britain?
Britain.
Yeah, that was cool. You know, that was cool. I fuck with her. I mean, you know, I thought she was alright. I thought she you know, I just didn't. I didn't watch the show, so I don't have that much to say on her.
Yeah, no,
But
it definitely was.
her movie iterations and her appearances was solid though for sure. I just wouldn't include her nowhere near that. And you know what? I thought about that. I was like, damn, should we include side characters? And I was like, damn, I like Agent Hill. I put Agent Hill in my top 10 before her. Agent Hill, I like that.
Agent Hill. Rest in peace, Agent
Rest
Hill.
in peace, Agent Hill, bro. One second, you guys.
Dang. I just realized that too, that she got rest in peace, Agent Hill, because she definitely got
Hey,
smoked.
Mhm.
hey, can somebody do number four before? Can I go second on number four?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm gonna get Torian to do his number four. Torian, number four. What's your number four?
My number 4 would have to be Nick Fury.
Mm.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
about I
I
thought
would say, yeah, I would say Nick Fury because like he's the reason why they're all together. Like he put this whole team together. Is played by Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, like, what else could you really ask for? He's definitely an intricate part of the Avengers as a whole and them coming together as a team. He put all this whole team together. So he's definitely a huge part. He's always like he'll sometimes be lingering in the shadows. He'll make an appearance and pop up if need be. And whenever duty calls, he's gonna do what he has to do. He's very tactful, he's very calculated, uh very smart. He doesn't let anybody run over him, even though because you got to think, even though he's the organizer of the team, he has no powers. You know, he has no superhero abilities, but he's going to get his people in line and he's going to keep them in check.
facts.
Even even when he's not there, he's there. So I would definitely have to say Nick Fury is definitely my number 4.
I agree. I mean, I can definitely agree with you with that number four because I mean, even though Secret Invasions didn't, it didn't live up to like everybody's expectations.
Mhm.
It did make me appreciate Nick Fury more of like what he had to take on with the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Like even when
Mhm.
I think Tyler said to him, he's like, yeah, like what's your midlife crisis? You know what I'm saying? He's like the Avengers. Like that was my midlife crisis. Like that when I got 40, I didn't get like, oh, I'm about to go on retirement. No, I got had to deal with the world's strongest superheroes and controlling them, and still like when you think about it, like Nick Fury is like Batman, low key. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like the things he does to ensure things go right, like even with the Coulson situation, he took Coulson's cars out of his locker, put blood on them, and then threw it on the table, just like yeah, like he just died for nothing, huh?
I don't,
What
I
the?
don't mind Fury at 4. Fury at 4 is cool because I consider him for top 10 too. But I was like,
No, Bad Boy is definitely number
but
four. I'm
yeah.
like, cause like, think about it. He took all of the Avengers DNA without their knowledge, bro. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That is sickening. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Batman did to the Justice League. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I need to make sure I can take Superman down if it gets shiesty. If Cap all of a sudden don't want to sign my paperwork, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure they can't do this, that, and the third. So I agree. I think he's a big part of MCU. So shout
Yeah.
out to Thor.
What's up?
She just hissed at me because I ain't want rubber.
Oh. All right, so my number four
Yeah, I'm
is let me go. Let me see. My number four. I gotta get my list back out. Loki. That's my
Loki.
number four. Yeah,
Somehow I knew
because Loki.
somebody. Somehow I knew Loki was gonna fall in
Hey,
one of yours
Well, one
top
of
five,
them.
but I wasn't sure whose it was.
because I had to consider heroes, right? I had to consider the heroes. So I was Loki actually is a hero currently. Like he had a great his character. First of all, shout out Tom Hiddleston because Hiddleston is like one. We established this all the way from the street. Loki is Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought that performance on top of that, and his character. He got one of the best character arcs, bro. Go from being like literally like a
Right.
like a like a unwanted child to be like a to get to be a cast off to being a villain of like two movies, one big team up movie. Then he had he got a solo out and that's going well. I feel like Loki as a character just keeps evolving. And yeah, man, he just got a great art. Like his
I
his
won't
story
disagree with that.
his story is great, and his pre the like just like Miss Olsen, Loki's mannerisms. I mean, not Loki. I'm sorry, Tom Hiddleston's mannerisms with Loki and how it's done and how he
Mm-hmm.
plays him. Like,
Mm.
it's just a big factor. So for me, he's number four. Even though I guess he would be more of a anti-hero now, or so. But
Nah,
he's more Loki. Yes, Loki's a hero. We're calling Loki a hero because he's one of the time stoppers. I mean, what's the
yeah, Tom Barry. Look, I hadn't seen that new trailer. I'm like, is he a good guy now?
yeah, like
He's more. I wouldn't even really call like Loki a hero. I would probably like label him right. Well, right now, as the story arc is now, I would say he's more of an anti-hero.
yeah, that's what I'm saying anti-hero. But I would still say he's more on the save myself side because he did fight against Thanos, so he does count.
No, I agree.
So,
And with your Loki joint, it's crazy when Torian said, "Yeah, it's gonna be something," but he gonna be on some side of like somebody's
yeah,
list. He definitely on my list, but not on the post. You
I
know
ain't
what
know
I'm
where to I ain't know where to place him, but I had to consider again the post ranking. I'm like, well, yeah, Loki's like the only character. I'm like, I'm gonna go see what he doing. Like all
Mhm.
bucks.
I got some Loki sauce from McDonald's today. You hear me? Like,
Yeah.
they look when you said something, Torian too. You was like, "Hey, the group show they ain't promoting that joint. It's probably because the budget is in Loki right now. You feel me? Like it wasn't in Secret Invasion either. You feel me? So I definitely, yeah, I agree with that. But my number four is definitely gonna be Ultron. You dig what I'm saying? Ultron, my number four. Uh, like I just think about like what he logically he really was making a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the Avengers was really the problem. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like really not his fault how smart he got. You feel me? Because he was made for peace and all that stuff like that. And then he looks at what like is connected to peace and war and all that. And then the Avengers were just like at the center of all of that. Every time he looked at different stuff, they were in the center of it. So I felt like his villainous was like, yeah, like I know a lot of people give Age of Ultron flat. They said it was trash, whatever. But I think it was a really good movie because it was trash. It was stupid. Like it didn't make sense. Like it was like 4 movies in one. You know what I'm saying? It was like 4 different movies. They were telling like 4 different stories in one movie.
Yeah.
But Ultron, I definitely think he called what was going to happen with Thanos. You know what I'm saying? He warned everybody like, hey, if I don't get rid of the Avengers and do this, there's going to be worse things that happen. Thanos shows up, and all I think in my head is, dang, like in the what if Ultron's plan would have went through, he would have had smoke for Thanos. That wouldn't even have happened. They would have showed up and he would have got nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Because he would have been ready. So Ultron is my number 4. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Solid choice. I like James Spader play Ultron. I thought his character more I didn't give him his voice, but I thought the actual character of Ultron was more or less like the comics and might have been depowered a little bit, but what you gonna do? So
Can't OP him.
but yeah, you can't OB him. You can't make him like he's supposed to be, but you gotta roll with it. And I thought he could have been portrayed a little bit better. Put up a better fight. Try to make it he look like he was gonna win a little bit. But other than that, as a character, point blank, sorry, I'm out. Mad that could be number 4.
Okay, Torian.
Well, this is number 3, right?
Yeah.
My number 3 would have to be Iron Man, and I didn't think I would put him at number 3.
Mhm.
But with I would say he had one of the best story arcs I've ever seen. Like he literally had a complete full circle arc, and it's very rare that you can do that when you're dealing with a bunch of characters at one time. That you can't like give all your focus to just one character.
Right.
But if it wasn't for Iron Man, there would be no MCU. Like he kicked it off. Like the Iron Man movies had like this had to be successful in order for us to even have this conversation right now. And to
Right.
see where he started out to where his story ended is just amazing about how he just elevated. Like it was constant growth. They didn't make him a one note stagnant character. Like he had layers to him. He went through things, especially since he's a character that's always been known to have a lot of stuff handed to him because of his wealth. But he actually had to learn how to work with others, work with a team, learn how to win some battles, learn how to take some losses. I mean, this man has been in a lot of life or death situations. He almost got killed by Thanos, but Doctor Strange had to make sure he lived because he was that one possibility going into Endgame. He was the one that saved everyone. You
Facts.
know, that one moment right there literally showed the world that Iron Man or Tony Stark could be a selfless individual and not a selfish person that a lot of people pegged him for so many years. And that scene right there when he snapped his fingers and said I am Iron Man and he just died, like that whole sequence leading up to when they put the arc reactor into the water and it flowed away into the pond. And it said this shows that Iron Man had a heart or Tony had a heart. That whole scene, literally, I couldn't even fight back them tears. No matter, I think when I was in the theater and I was watching that movie when Endgame came out on the day it came out, because I went the day that they released it in the theater, packed full of people of all ages, ranges, whatever.
Yep.
I think when I was in there, you could probably hear a pin drop in that whole scene, and people was in there sniffing like they had sinuses. People was blowing their nose because they kept crying like that. I can't even that scene right up there is up there for me when Mufasa died in The Lion King, and that's hard to get up there. Like that's like almost right there for me. So I would have to say that Iron Man definitely has earned the number 3 spot for me.
Okay.
Hey, no, adding on what you said, the Mufasa thing before, I understand that completely, right? I'm gonna tell you why I agree with that. That nigga died. We thought he died twice. Remember when we got stabbed in Infinity War? And then both times you was like, oh, you like, no.
That first one got me. I ain't gonna lie.
When he got stabbed, I literally, I felt like my heart dropped. I was like, they really going there. They going there with this. They said, oh, we really about to show y'all this about to be the end. I was like, wow, they really went there.
That snap when everybody started dusting, I was like, nah. I was like, nah. And then I remember, Alessia she started crying. She was crying like shit. And then I was like, I'm good. And all of a sudden, I think I heard Spider-Man go, Mr. Stark. I was like, I got a little choke. Like, hold up.
Everybody got a little choke. Like, hold up.
Bro, nah. He's like, y'all want to go. I'm like,
and I heard that was actually improv. Like that wasn't in the script. Like Tom Holland actually improv that whole scene of saying, I don't want to go.
But you could tell because that's why it was so good. He definitely said that. Him
cinema. Look, what is it? Mark Scorsese? Cinema. Right. No, that number 3 was hard. And Tom, before you get your number 3, I'm gonna get mine, right? My number 3 is definitely gonna be Ant-Man. You know what I'm saying?
I knew you was gonna have Ant-Man.
I know where.
I was waiting. I said it's gonna be in there somewhere. So I was like, he may be his number 1, but I don't know. But now this number 3. Now I am curious who your number 1 gonna be.
So Ant-Man is my number 3. This dude, this story arc, is just crazy. Like, I like Paul Rudd already as an actor, and like he's one of them people. Like when you said like they're that person, like how Emily Olsen and Scarlet Witch, he is Ant-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like you are Ant-Man, bro. Like when I see Ant-Man, I think of that. It got me to look into his comics. The movie got me into actually going to read a comic book about him. And so when I thought about the first one, I saw that when like I think the Russo brothers was saying like watch all the movies leading up to Endgame, like they were
Yeah.
like weekly, whatever. So we watched that joint. I'm like, this joint good as a mud. The first one.
First Ant-Man.
I'm like, I thought Ant-Man and Wasp was good, but this Ant-Man is like that. You know what I'm saying? And the story, his background, it's more down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Of somebody that can't do right, that's really trying to do right. You feel me? And how he interacted with the Avengers, like everybody else. When he's around other people, you just feel like he's the normal guy. Like when they first ripped open the van door on Civil War, and he just woke up or whatever, and he's like, I need some slices. I need some slices. He's like, and when he met Cap or whatever, he was just like, it's a pleasure to meet you. Like he really was like geeking. He talked about that. That was talked about in other movies besides that one. Like even the Ant-Man and Wasp is like, yeah, how you save Cap, right? He's like that was different. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like, so I liked the first one. The second one is one of my favorites in the MCU. Ant-Man and Wasp. After I think that was like really like a good side story, and then the end, how they got snapped. You know what I'm saying? I really wish they could have went more into that. Ant-Man and Wasp kind of mid. It is mid, but it's okay mid because I like Ant-Man. I definitely think they should have did way. I think Ant-Man and Wasp should have stayed in the quantum realm. I think that would have been made the stakes a little bit more different. But obviously, we don't know what Marvel was doing. But that's my number 3, Ant-Man. Which I think, man, y'all rocking with my number 3 though, even though y'all thought it was gonna be priced higher, probably.
I really thought Ant-Man was gonna be number 1 for you because I know how much you like Ant-Man.
I got
Ant-Man.
My heart
is in my top 10. It's in my top 10. I'm not gonna hold. I thought about like Ant-Man belongs in the top 10.
But what's your number 3, Tone? What's your number 3?
It might shock some people. My number 3 is Thor. So I feel like
that's a shocker for me. Okay.
It is. I wasn't expecting that.
Was it too low, too high?
Too high. Yeah.
Too high? You know what?
I think
Thor I went back and forth with, but because I love the mythology and stuff side so far, that's mainly why him and Loki placed in my top 5. But the actors that play them, you know, they brought that life to them. And Thor, you know, him specifically, I thought his portrayal in the MCU was more or less like on point. A little bit of depowering, but it's cool. Like I said, what can you do? Him and Hulk are literally so powerful that they couldn't appear in Civil War. So because it was like tip the scale, tip the balance, or whatever. So that you know, him as a character, bit almost pinpoint to the comics is how I liked it. And then shout out Chris Hemsworth, man, because he played the shit out of him. I don't know if he's going to ever act again or whatever's going on with him, but yeah, you know, I think he did a great job as Thor and brought some life to it. And his character arc too. I thought his movies, more or less, he should have been taken more seriously.
Yeah.
After he had a lot of momentum with Ragnarok, had a lot of momentum, and if they had made a 4th one, you know, you know, they got Christian Bale to come play Gore, but they didn't really like.
What a waste!
Dude, they didn't really do much with it.
Like when you think about it, it's like, yo, like this was actually because they tried to make it a love story and do the first romantic comedy. They was like, here I go, here I go.
Yep.
You know,
Thor's best moment, in my opinion, was when he came into Wakanda in Infinity War.
Oh my God,
that was the time. I said when I saw that was Thor. That was the Thor that everybody has been wanting to see.
Like when he talking to the older Thor, I like that.
And even when he threw Stormbreaker at Thanos and it landed in his chest.
Yeah,
so
big moment, high moment. He had a lot of great moments though. For all his I guess the movie's low points, he has a ton of high points, especially in the big team up movies.
When he's like, I feel like when Thor is like in the Avengers movies, he's good, but on his own, it's like
he needs more support.
Oh my God!
There's also how they write him too. He's his best when.
Thanks a lot, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, but overall, for me, number 3 would have to go to Thor, just based upon his overall, importance to the MCU. Because you do need the God of Thunder, you need that mythical powerhouse figure to bring in, and I think it was like how they brought him down to earth, how they made him more grounded. It was like they tried, but definitely Thor 2 by far bottom 2 Marvel movie still, no matter
I don't
what.
think I know anyone who liked Thor: Dark World. I
Nobody.
don't think I know anybody who liked that movie.
So,
Nobody.
yeah,
Nobody.
not even. It's for most people. It's not even at mid level. Like it's
it's
Man,
skippable.
it's on the floor.
It's skippable. If you try to watch 1 through 30, that's the one movie. Like, what movie can you skip? Dark World.
I definitely agree with that, man. Hey, man, shout out to Marvel's Bluntz, man. We got 2
Like,
left
comment, subscribe, yes, sir.
before Endgame, and we rocking and rolling. Subscribe to Marvel's Bluntz ASAP. Y'all definitely see our lists is different from what we be talking normally on here. So y'all
Right.
see we really did our due diligence in finding out who's our top. You know what I'm saying? Now,
And this is all opinionated. This is not saying that this is rooted in facts. As we all know, the MCU is made up of a lot of characters.
Okay.
A lot of characters.
It's a lot of characters. So before we go to the top 2, just a quick hitter from everybody. Name somebody that's not your top 2 that would be an honorable mention though. What should name your one honorable mention? And my one honorable mention, I'm gonna be keeping a buck with you, is the Guardians all together as a whole. They're my honorable mention because they had a great ending story. I feel like they had a top
the best trio, probably.
Yeah, they had
their ending was good. Like Rocket's story was definitely a great way to end off the Guardians arc.
Yep, I agree. It was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen shout out to the Screen Crush. I was watching that, like, he be breaking down the joints. He said about like empathy. You know what I'm saying? Like this movie was like about them empathizing with Rocket and all them empathizing with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's like been my thing I've been on this year is empathy. So it was just wow. Like I'm like, dang, you really feeling for Rocket. You know what I'm saying? Now you see how he is, how he acts, everything, how he acts. Like, 1, he's smarter than everybody, for real. And 2, he been through a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but no, that's my quick hitter is the Guardians. What about you, Tony?
My quick hitter. Let's see. It would have to be. I mean, can we include the Punisher? Can we include?
Yeah,
including them.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're including them. Okay, I'm going to say John Burton's Punisher. Obviously, because John Burton is a fucking beast. He's hard as shit. The Punisher's hard as shit. I don't care. No way talk about. Actually, I include Daredevil too, because I got Daredevil on my list, but I wasn't sure we were including them. But definitely, Charlie Cox Daredevil.
Okay.
But yeah, Punisher is my quick honorable mention. I didn't know we said. Oh, and Black Panther, honorable mention.
Okay.
So, I feel like BP didn't really because of his death, and I feel like we couldn't really see the full scope of his Black Panther versus so honorable mention. I couldn't really include him as like a strictly movie character list. So
facts. Yeah. Tori, what's your you got an honorable mention? Somebody like who?
Yeah, Thanos. For sure. Thanos definitely for sure, because the whole lead up was to see what he was going to do. Everyone could not wait to get to see him with that Infinity Gauntlet and him to do that famous snap. Everybody was waiting for that to happen.
Wait, so were you disappointed? Were you disappointed that it was?
No.
Oh, okay.
His mission was fulfilled. And one thing I like is that all the movies leading up to that, the heroes always won. Finally, they lost. They felt like they was at a point where we don't know what to do. We got to figure something out. Like what do we do? He snapped out half of existence for his own, reasoning. And now we got to try to find a way to bring everybody back. And it actually made them like come together and put their heads together to come up with a plan to actually undo what he did. 5 years went past. It took them 5 long. Do you know how long 5 years got to be when 50% of the world is gone?
That probably was terrible.
Like
bro.
it probably felt like 100. They were going through it. I mean, if you saw how and can I throw another honorable mention in there too? Just because I was getting ready to say them, because Thanos is one of them, but my other is Black Widow. In my opinion, she was a huge part of why they were successful in Endgame. Yep. She was her sacrifice was a huge part of why they won in Endgame. I don't know why people don't feel like they don't give her enough props for what she did in that movie alone. Like she was the one that was really ready to go more than any other character. Like she was all for it. She was willing to try to do anything to bring all of them back. Like
Okay,
really, she was, in my opinion, she was the heart and ironically the soul because she sacrificed herself so Hawkeye can get the Soul Stone in order to
here's my number 9.
complete the gauntlet. So I would have to throw Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, as my other honorable mention for
Okay.
sure. So for me, it's Thanos and Black Widow.
All right. Okay. So that was some great honorable mentions. Shout out to the honorable mentions, but we got to get right to our number 2. And Torian, who is your number 2 on that time?
Pappy, I know you're not,
Here we go.
gonna like this.
Here we go. Here we go.
Killmonger.
Oh my God, bro!
I knew.
Hey, auntie.
I knew Pat was gonna feel some type of way about that one.
This man here, son.
When I said Killmonger, but I gotta give my reason as to why. For the longest time, a lot of people have been asking the people over at Marvel and the MCU, practically begging them, we need a solid villain. Yeah. Somebody who has a good story, somebody who has a reasoning to do why they did what they did, and also someone that people could probably understand why they're doing what they're doing. He literally captures all 3 of those elements wrapped into one person. You saw in the movie why he did what he did. You didn't really like it at first, but then you understood at the end why he wanted to do it. And I think because he, as a character, and I'm gonna kind of bring some of my my elements I says as far as the stuff that I talk on my channel. Mm-hmm. When you think that he is a black man, particularly a black American man who had went through a lot and seen a lot, and he felt he got shunned because of what happened to his dad under those circumstances, and he felt he got locked out and discarded like trash. You see why he did what he did. Is he had a revolutionary spirit about himself do exactly what he did. To the people in Wakanda, they felt what he was doing was wrong, but in his heart, he felt he was doing the righteous thing or doing the right thing. Sure, it was extreme, in order for him to do what he did. But then again, what ended up happening? They ended up kind of doing a soft opening of Wakanda to the world. So they ended up kind of doing what he planned on doing anyway, just not as extreme as he was going to do it. Right. So, and then on top of that, even when it was all said and done, even with all that he did, he still wasn't able to get a chance to really do what his father had wanted him to do, which, I mean, he did, but he was about to die. And that was to see those sunsets. I thought that was a very interesting way to end off his character. And that last line that he gave was so powerful. That was just excellent writing. So I really did enjoy the Killmonger character. I knew you was gonna feel some type of way because I know how you feel about Michael B. Jordan, but you gotta admit Killmonger was one of the best MCU villains to date.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna say something, right? I'm gonna understand what you said. You know what I'm saying? One thing that you did say that I feel like proving wrong, like he did have an actually solid reason for what he was doing as a villain. You know what I'm saying? That is very important for a villain. They capture that. The fact that, you know what I'm saying, he still had that villainous style, but like you said, at the same time, he was like, it sounded like
you could relate. You could relate to him.
Because like you said, he
was relatable.
I gotta break the chain of I'm being pushed to the side. No, like this is my actual right as my family. You know what I'm saying? To represent on this throne, and I'm gonna represent it my way. Like you said, it may have been outlandish, but it ended up happening anyway. You know what I'm saying? In turn, and I think, you know what I'm saying, as corny as I think bro is, he did do a good job at, like, people remember Killmonger.
Yes, people still talk about his character today. Like a lot of people even hold him up higher than T'Challa. A lot of people said that they felt like he was the real hero of the movie.
People wanted him to be a Black Panther.
People wanted him to come back. Like people was upset that he died.
Man, but that understanding that, yes, I do agree. That's why I see why it's your top 2. You feel me? But Tone, you can give your two and spill on that, or you can go ahead. You can get your two.
Yeah, Killmonger caught me off guard. I'm completely caught off guard. But you have great reasons though. He has a full
He
circle
did.
story.
He did.
So I ain't mad at it. They just caught me off guard. So yeah, damn, that's high. Killmonger number 2 and before after Endgame.
That's more shocking than my Agent Carter, to be honest.
This is about to say.
I don't know.
It's about to say. My 2, I think it's obvious. I'm going with the big guy himself, Star-Lord.
Okay.
I think Chris Pratt, starting with the actor, you know what I'm saying? He definitely took an underrated character, made a C-list character into an A-list character. The story, the director, James Gunn, like everything. Like y'all already know my love for Guardians, so I'm not gonna keep rehashing it. But Star Lord was like the top tier character from start to finish. I feel like he didn't lack. I feel like his arc was fully completed. You know, he went through his highs and his lows. He didn't get his girl back, but it's okay. He got his team back. That's all that matters. It's okay. And the only negative I can say on the Guardian, the Star Lord front is damn, I just had it in my head and I lost it. Oh, the way that he got back to Earth. I don't know if you're gonna be part of the Avengers full time. No, but I just can't wait to see what he does next.
The legendary Star Lord is returning.
I just can't wait to see because they gotta be hyped though. If he gets a solo movie, I'm down for that. I'm not gonna fake. I'm gonna be down for that.
Facts.
But yeah, man, he's just a C-list to an A-list man, and everybody like it's just everybody can like this character. Like no reason why you can't like him. You can find.
Well, I can give you one reason.
Well,
that BS he did in Infinity War when he was getting the gauntlet. Oh, people was hating Star Lord after that, and for good reason. They almost got the gauntlet off. How could you forget that?
I didn't forget it. I just choose to ignore it. I mean, like, what would you do?
Like he did.
Yeah, like what? Like, I mean, I think I would have done it. Honestly, I was like, I can bring you back. I got the gloves. Like, I got the whole thing.
I realize you don't talk about that a lot. It's like when he seen that touring, he just was like,
I just
that's crazy. That happened. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That's how we got the Endgame. Wow.
I always omit that. Everybody got those moments, man.
Okay, so I rock with your two because that's your guy. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I agree. He did. They did turn the Guardians up.
Like find a stronger character, and he lays his own team in every movie. Lay his own team with other characters. Like, come on.
I agree.
Honorable mention. Sorry, random honorable mention. Gamora. Shout out to Zoe Saldana that he played. Yeah,
she's killing it with the franchises. So shout out to her. She's gonna stay in the franchise. She's like the Eva. She's like the Rose. What's her name? Ahsoka. Who plays? What's her name?
Rosario Dawson.
They're like parallel to each other because one is the TV person, and then she's in
the voice actor.
Like they're definitely doing that. But Tori, what's your number two?
I already gave him Killmonger was my number two.
It's your number two. Yeah, out, bro. It's KK, bro. So look, my number two, honestly, it gotta go to Cap. You know what I'm saying? Gotta go to Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Steve Rogers. I think that is probably the second best. Like how you said Iron Man, like how he had the best
story arc.
I think it was Cap next. You know what I'm saying? Because him and Iron Man, Tony, they became those characters. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Evans was in. He was. If people don't know, he was the Human Torch. You know
but the Fantastic Four.
So for him to go from like Johnny Torch to like Cap and really do it like really change, make people forget his other character, like you're Captain America. I think he did a great job with that. I think he had he had some good villains. He had a good story. Just him and Bucky, you know what I'm saying? The Winter Soldier was probably something like that was like
top tier movie.
Yeah, Winter Soldier was fire.
Shout
out to the little background work I did. I'm gonna still claim that.
And he let them alley-oop his last movie to be a movie that like set up more things with Civil War. You know what I'm saying? Like Civil War was good. You know what I'm saying? Civil War you really saw him in something that we saw built. Like, oh shit, it's really crashing right in front of our face, bro. Like Iron Man, he coming in the Cap movie, he coming in the Captain America 3, ruining his movie. You feel what I'm saying? So I rock with that. You know what I'm saying? But I really did like Cap, and then even in the extended all the Avengers movies, he was pressure. You know what I'm saying? And even just with him just standing on what he believed in. Like, I'm not signing these accords, bro, because we're gonna give over the rights to everything. And then he had to hold it down even after Endgame. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But I just really wish that him and Tony would have had more time to fight together. Besides, you know what I'm saying, that Endgame scene when they put at the end. You know what I'm saying? But that's my number. That's my number 2. You know what I'm saying?
And don't forget, Cap is worthy. He was able to get millionaire.
That
part right there.
I hate Endgame, but that was the best part of the movie when he got all of a sudden, and then Thor was like, "I knew it." He's like, "I knew it." Because if y'all know, if y'all paid close attention when they was like in the Ultron, they was trying to
he moved it a little bit.
I think Cap could have lifted it up right there, but he's like
holding something back.
He's like, I don't want to take.
And that was the payoff right there to show you that a little bit in Ultron 9, he was able to move it a little bit, and then in Endgame for him to not only hold it but to make it come to him.
Yes.
So that was the payoff right there. When that happened, I swear the theater I was in literally jumped up and down. I saw popcorn flying everywhere like confetti when that happened. Like, I kid you not. Like, that whole movie at that time was a moment in itself that has etched itself in stone, that if you were not there, you missed it. You will probably never get another cinematic experience like that for a long time.
Nope.
You had to be there to experience that.
Nope.
It was an experience for sure.
That was our Star Wars. That was our Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For real. Because you got to think, this is 10 years of build up to this. Like, a lot of us, like for me, when this thing started, I was in college. I was in college when this thing started.
Was that 12th grade? No, not 12th.
That was 12th grade. Yeah.
12th grade, right? Okay, yeah.
Started 12th grade.
It started my not my freshman year of college, my sophomore year of college is when Iron Man first came out. So, and then, yeah.
I say that's was number 2. Can't go wrong with that, and that's America's ass. I ain't mad at it.
Oh, man. Good God.
America's ass.
Let's get to these number ones, man. Torian, who is the number one?
I need to hear this.
I gotta do it for the culture. I gotta say Black Panther is number 1 for me. I said when he first, this goes back to when I kept saying I want to see Black Panther on screen in a movie somehow, some way. I don't know who is going to play him. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I said, as long as I'm alive and in good health to have that happen. And then all of a sudden I saw Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans on stage discussing phase 3 of Marvel. And they're just talking, and all of a sudden it gets quiet. Then you see the screen go dark. Then the screen comes back on and you see the Black Panther logo. And when I tell you, I screamed so loud, like I was in that audience, because I said, yes, my dreams are coming true, that this character is coming. But I was still excited that the character was coming without even knowing who the actor was going to be portraying him. And then all of a sudden they said, okay, the person who's playing Black Panther, he's here. Then they open up the curtain, and then Chadwick Boseman walks out. When I tell you, if I could have ran out of my house and did a lap around the block when I saw that, I was so excited because I said that is perfect casting, because I had seen a lot of Chadwick Boseman material before that point. A lot of people weren't even familiar with who he was.
I wasn't
until that point. I had seen a lot of his work leading up to that point, and I was telling people, everyone that I knew, I said, this role is in good hands. Chadwick Boseman is a phenomenal actor. If you have not seen any of his movies before this, you need to watch them, because he's a very great actor. And then when I saw that first trailer for Civil War, and I saw him running at that top speed, I lost it again. I said, even just that little small piece right there. Granted, I saw Civil War because I wanted to see what was going to happen, but I really wanted to see Black Panther.
Black
I
Panther.
wanted to see, because I remember when he first came on the screen and he turned around, the crowd started to cheer. You would have thought that it was a Black Panther movie and not a Captain America movie at that point. And he did his thing in there. And then when they announced they was coming out with a Black Panther movie, like when Civil War was over and I was walking out of the theater, everybody kept talking about Black Panther. When is that Black Panther movie coming out? When is that Black Panther movie coming out? And then the following year, we get the first teaser for Black Panther during the NBA Finals. And I lost it again. I swear, I felt like a little kid again. And then the movie comes out, becomes a global and cultural phenomenon.
Off the one hit,
like literally, you had everybody buying out theaters. You had people coming dressed up like in African attire. You had by the time the movie was over, you had everybody doing this.
Facts.
Everybody was doing this, yelling Wakanda forever.
Remember the memes of Chadwick? No funny, rest in peace. He started getting so bad. He just was like,
yeah, like he got tired. You could tell he got kind of tired after a while, but you know,
definitely got
I mean, it is what it is. And then on top of that,
Wakanda forever.
And then what makes this even more interesting is that as phenomenal and as talented as Chadwick Boseman is, he did all of this with cancer.
Facts.
We did not know that this man had cancer, portraying such a physically demanding role. And he was able to pull that off, and we did not know. And when he died, you would have thought a political figure, a major political figure died. Like that was a huge shock, because it's like, what was going on? Because we had saw pictures of him. He had lost weight. He was like, oh, maybe he's doing it for a role. But then I was like, nah, that's not that weight. You just lose it. I think he might be a little sick, but I don't know what it is. Then we found out that he had cancer, and then that's what made him playing that role even more significant, that he did this while having an illness and nobody knew except his close friends and family. So I definitely have to give my number one to Black Panther, because for me it was just more than just a character. It's about what the character represented. Not only was he a hero, but he was the king of the wealthiest nation that was technologically more advanced than any other place on earth, and they were able to keep all of that concealed from outsiders, and they took care of them invaders, or as Shuri called them, the colonizer, whenever they decided to come in. So that's my number one.
Hey,
that's a great number one, especially you put it like
that. That's how he broke it down too. So I was like, dang, I can't even fake like that. That's a good number one. Black Panther was up. Tone, what's up with you? What's your number one?
Isn't that obvious what number one is? Isn't that? It has to be super obvious. Of course, it's Iron Man, right? It has to be Iron Man.
Oh,
the father of the MCU, bro. It has to be, bro. Like this man, like literally birthed the MCU. You know, literally, man. It was from start to finish, man. His Tony Stark's impact, Iron Man's impact on the MCU overall. His movies, although his movies might not have been the best, they were like, you would still have to go see an Iron Man movie just because of Robert Downey Jr. Like even with Lord, I will go ahead and say it. Iron Man 2 is one of those old movies that you can hit skip because it doesn't really do much, but it's like just to see, just to have any. I feel like I can always watch an Iron Man movie no matter any time of day, like where I'm at. I feel like I can just see. I just like seeing him go into the suit, seeing the Iron Man suit come alive. Seeing the Stark vision through, like seeing it through the helmet, him flying, like it's always a good time to watch an Iron Man movie. And I feel like even we had to get serious, when they took him out of the suit, he did his thing with the little tactical espionage shit, sneaking on planes and shit. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing. He might not have had his top tier rogue list of villains available to him, but he made the best of what he could do with the big bag and the team ups. His real value came in the team ups because when the chips was down, the man with no power but all the tech, they relied on Stark to get it done, and that's why he's the number one, bro. because
Hey,
who you can count on, it's always to make the toughest choices and say, hey, look, man, this thing for this the world. I'm taking the world. You know, even though everybody expects him to go with his ego, but guess what? He does. He chooses ego while saving everyone at the same time. And you know, I just feel like just Iron Man is always the go-to for me.
Well,
I,
Now,
everything like you have to agree with it. Like you like that was my number three. So pretty much everything you
yeah.
said, like I have to agree with.
I was trying not to rehash mostly, and like he had a great circle, like just just as his overall presence is still felt like who is the next like the screen charisma, you know what I'm saying? Like just
yeah.
your what you bring, like his aura. Like start he was this man is still mentioned. Now he's been dead. He's still technically dead. He's still been mentioned in
Like
a little
10 years later, he's still getting talked about, bro.
like
Hmm.
yeah, so
Yeah.
but definitely start for me as my number one top MCU character.
I would agree. Look, I was gonna say like we can go to post after. I mean after because like you just said my number one, which was Iron Man. Everything you
Oh
Oh,
wow.
said was
So
all
Iron Man, so the Iron Man ended up in our top five somehow, some way. All of
mhm.
our
yeah.
top five somehow, some
So
way.
Iron Man's the goat. You know what I'm saying? Like I just let because like it go back to Tone said about like that also that big thing about C-list, D-list characters that you don't know
Hmm.
about. Like I said, I
Yeah.
just remember knowing about X-Men. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man. Then when I saw Iron Man in the theater, I just remember him saying like, um, when he was eating the burger or whatever at the end and whatever, he just like, I'm Iron Man. He just straight up was like, I'm just about to just tell
Mhm.
it right now. And that was the first like reveal of a superhero like that. Like,
Yeah.
That was the epic moment right there. I'm
yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
And his
Cut
movies
off.
connected like all the Avengers movies. Like his
Mhm.
movies were low key, like building the Avengers movies. They were coming to him about people they wanted to pick
Yeah.
and things like that. Like he always was greatly involved in everything. We just gotta give Robert Downey Jr. his flowers. It's just
And it helped revive his career, change. You know, it got him out of the drink.
Yeah.
Like it did.
like
They,
Yeah.
so
they took
Because
a pride with
he
his
was on the
career.
binge.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was, and they were just saying like even just the first
And
like
you know,
you know what I'm saying?
and also too, even though like he doesn't get talked about much. Shout out to Terrence Howard.
Yeah,
He took a pay cut so Robert Downey Jr. could get paid more money because believe it or not, Terrence Howard was actually the bigger name at the
he
time.
was at the time. All hustle and flow and all that stuff like that. He
Because he was coming off of an Oscar nomination, Hustle and Flow and all of that stuff. He had a good run,
yeah,
and at that time, Robert Downey Jr. was still going through legal issues and drug issues.
yeah.
So like they wasn't paying him he wasn't getting top billing. I put it like that, but he took a pay cut
Definitely getting top
just
billing
so
now.
Robert Downey Jr. could get paid more money.
Look, they saw him on drugs and all that stuff. Kevin Feige was like, perfect. They're like, you're definitely could be Tony Stark. You're because he can relate to that role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just having
Yeah.
being a money guy or whatever. But
And I don't know if y'all saw Oppenheimer, but he was phenomenal in that.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was
I gotta
very
get
good
my
at
mind
Oppenheimer.
together to watch that one day. But
Yeah, it's a long movie, but it's a good movie.
all right, Paul. Hey, but listen, shout out to Barbie because I saw Barbie. I'm wild.
Hey, before
Yeah, you
hey,
are a
right quick,
wild one for that one.
let me go through my bottom 10 right quick before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
But Bob, so I got 6 of Ant-Man, right? 6 Ant-Man,
Mm-hmm.
7 the Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
8 Thanos,
Mm-hmm.
9 I had Black Widow tied with Kate Bishop, and the number 10 I had Captain America, just cause it's Cap. And Chris Evans is like that, but as a character, but these got just like as characters and as like my favorites. So I thought Kate Bishop, especially at number 9, Kate Bishop came in and had an immediate impact. Like
Okay.
she was hit. So
So you actually going to lead us into our next thing, if you know what I'm saying, which before we go, which is the after the end game, who was your character? You know what I'm saying? Who what is this? The
Post
multiverse
Endgame,
so that the multiverse saga for like phase
yeah,
5.
the multiverse saga.
So yeah, I can definitely start off with my